What's up, everybody? Kelpka here, and today we are taking you through a new build that I've been messing around with, that I've been having a lot of fun with, actually. And I think you would too, because it is a tanky build. Oh my gosh, the tank is unreal on this build. It is a fast build, and we're going through an undercity right here to show off how fast this build really is. And it just flies around the map and really allows you to clear some of this content in Torment 4 much faster to maximize efficiency. And I think that's what's important, because this is a materials masterworking obdicite undercity. So I do farm these when I have them, because I think if you could do them in 4-ish minutes, it's worth it compared to doing the Infernal Hordes. Because if you get some bad boons and banes in Infernal Hordes, it actually isn't as fast for obdicite as this. But if you get a really good one, it's rewarding. So it's a little bit of risk and reward for if you have a bunch of these material undercity tributes to do these, you could get pretty much consistent loot, which some people might like that better. So I like running both of them, though. I sprinkle both, but I like this because you're so fast and you're able to just run through it extremely quick. And I like porting around. This build is a pretty much straight lightning spear build where I'm just trying to generate as many conjures as possible and keep up as many as possible. You'll get a lot more up in the pit. It does when you're fighting bosses. It could clear any obviously boss, but it has like a slow starting because you have to generate your stuff. But once you start generating stuff, you're going to be flying around the map like you see here. So click that, boom. So I can hit that stuff, go here, start this over here, make sure everything's getting killed. I don't have to worry about being directional like Fireball is, because Fireball is a great build, especially for bosses. But here I could just worry about my path and my traveling. Look at that. It's so this kills everything so well that on the 3rd floor, I already have it done. So now I just need to I'll even click this, because I know everything will die here, and I'll get the buff for being fast, and we just port now. We don't even have to worry about it. Look how fast we're gonna get to the end of it. We don't even know where it is, but it's probably over here. So very quick build, very fun to play. It's good in pits. It says pit potential to get to 100. I don't know why I clicked that. Didn't need it, but it's kind of gear dependent too, which I'll talk about when I get to the build and I'm showing off the gear and the stuff I'm using. And there's a lot of upgrades I could actually already have too. So you see how it's a little slower start, but then it picks up, ramps up. This guy for some reason doesn't die right away at the end, but it staggers fast, which is nice too. We love the stagger. And it took me about 4 minutes to complete that, and I got 2,000 obdicite. So not bad, right? Because about 800 burning aether gives you 4,000 or 4,000 obdicite, but that will take you about 12 to 13 minutes. So here we're spending less time doing it. So I really do like these tributes to 4 material mats. Now I'm out of them. You don't get that many. You get more of the summoning boss items, and you get more of the runes. But if you get the legendary one, that's fantastic, because you get a lot of GAs in it. If you do want to farm more gear and loot, it is probably better to do Infernal Hordes, because you get the chest with the guaranteed GA. So for me, I like them both. I kind of split my time between both of them. But let's get into an 85 pit with some of the stuff that we're doing in this build. All right, before we get into all the gear, we're going to talk about how this build is played. First, we'll talk about the skills. On the bar, we have Lightning Spear, we have Ice Blades, we have Ice Armor, we have Flame Shield, Ball Lightning, and Unstable Currents. We're using Ice Blades enchantment along with Teleport enchantment. So the idea for this build is to, realistically, if you're playing on a keyboard, the best way I found to do it is hold down the Shift key and Ball Lightning, and then just teleport. So sometimes you're going to move not too often. If you have unlimited evade, you want to evade as much as possible because that's reducing the cooldown of your unstable currents. And the reason why it's doing that is you're using flicker steps, because flicker steps, when you evade through an enemy, it reduces the cooldown by 4 seconds. And flicker steps has attacks reduced cooldown by 2.5 seconds. And that is the most you could get on a pair of boots. So your evade is always gonna reduce the cooldown a ton from your ultimate. You can see down below, my ultimate is pretty much always up. I'm always using my ultimate in every fight, even in on boss fights, which you'll see right here. This boss fight, I'm going to teleport through them, teleport when it's up, teleport through them, just to reduce the cooldown. You can see it again, it's up in a second. Yep, right there, clicked it. I'm teleporting to reduce the cooldown of the evade. I'm always pressing Ice Blade, Lightning Spear when it's up, and I'm always trying to keep Ice Armor up because I have Storm Swell on, and Flame Field is good to have. It's not necessarily needed in every instance, but it definitely is really good to have. One thing that Flame Shield does with unstable currents, it brings out your familiars, and that's how you actually get burning damage. So you'll see familiars spawning, and those familiars will burn the boss or burn the enemies, and that's what's gonna give you that extra damage because you should have Devouring Blaze on as well. So there's 2 different ways you could run this build. So when I'm in T4, I run this build with a Shaco, and then I use Debalt's Will. So the Shaco with the Debalt's Will allow you to teleport a bit faster because in pits, you have way more density. So you don't necessarily need the Shaco because you'll able to reset your evade very quickly. When I'm in the pits, I'm using the Arab Edition, and I'm using just regular pants with Orange Herald on it to make sure that my ultimate is always up, because you're really not doing that much damage if your ultimate is not up. So that's pretty much how this build is played. Very fun build to play, so I hope you're checking it out. Let's go over the gear, the Paragon points, and the skill tree. All right, so I have the version for pits on right now, so I'll show you what I have, Arab Edition, and then I also want to talk about how this build could be better. This could have had a GA and critical strike chance, would have been better for this build. I do have Warcry. Warcry is pretty much the staple in any build. You know, you're not casting non-channeled core skills, so you can use the Tam rune with this, so Tam Ohm, which is really good. I would max out crit first, and then realistically, lucky hit chance is probably better than core skills on this one. So I was using this with Fireball, so core skills is better with Fireball. That's why it's at 2 points into core skills. And then you want to Shroud of Death. The Shroud of all stats is the best thing to get the GAs into. Intelligence is the best stat you can get on there. And if you can get GA on all stats and max life, that's the best you can get on this as well. You want regular gloves. So you definitely need crit chance, and you definitely need crit strike damage. You can get intelligence instead of health. You can see that I have 9100 life, which is really good. So that is very tanky. And one of the cool things about this build, it is really, really hard to die in this build. So I am using ice armor on the gloves, and then I want lucky hit to freeze with the tempering, and then critical strike damage. I got triple into that critical strike damage, which was awesome. On the pants, this is the version again for the pits. If not, I'll show you real quick after I explain this. We do have warmth on here. We do have chance to freeze again because we do have Hoarfrost on. You'll see that in the skill tree. We're using Yul and Gar because we don't have max crit on this build. We didn't get a GA into the Air Perdition, so that is not max crit. So that helps us get there. Very good pants. And then also you want to reduce the cooldown of your ultimate, so you're using Orange Herald on this as well. We talked about flicker steps. That's what we're using. I like the GAs into damage reduction because we want to be super tanky. It is good if you had a GA on the ultimate damage or movement speed, that would be good too. 4 seconds reduce on the cooldown is very, very good on this. A very good item. You definitely want to use the flicker steps in this build. For the staff, we are getting as much crit damage as possible, so you want crit on there. You want a chance for a second Ice Blades to cast. Lightning Spear does double damage. It doesn't work with the Lightning Spear aspect, and that's what we're using on here, the Splintering Energy, and that's how we're actually doing most of our damage. So you just need to max out crit as much as possible. Crit damage would be awesome if I had a GA on this. That's what I am looking for now. And then obviously GA and intelligence would be good too. Just brings more damage when the lightning spear hits an enemy. So increases damage by 100% of your critical strike damage bonus. So more crit strike, more damage. Cool stuff. All right, so then for the neck, this is kind of reversed how I would want it, or if I had both, it would be even better. But you do want ranks to Conjure Mastery. You do want ranks to Devouring Blaze. If it was GA Conjure Mastery, I would do more damage. I like the 20% intelligence increase. I would like to try this with cooldown as well. Can't really be too picky on the items because legendary items are so hard to come by. They're harder than mythics to come by, which blows my mind. Along with the aspects, they're never maxed out. I'm losing 5% damage here, losing 6% damage here. I'm losing probably another 10% damage here. So that's like 21% damage that I don't have. So there's a lot of damage being missed because the aspects aren't maxed out. Not sure why they don't want us to get maxed out aspects this season. I think that should change because I don't think these awesome mythics should be easier to get than maxed out aspects. It does not make sense to me. Hopefully they fix that soon. But we want critical strike damage. This did get bricked. I did use the Reskull of tempering on there, and it did get bricked. So lucky hit chance to slow is not what I would want on there. I would probably want something that reduces the cooldown of my lightning spear. That would be probably the best thing to do. Or chance to evade, even a better chance to evade reduction would be good on here as well. I need to reset this. I want a better damage to Tarashas because realistically, you're losing 4.5 times 3, and 4.5 times 3 is another 13.5 damage. So now we've talked about 33% damage just on multipliers that this build is missing. So it could do a lot more. That's why I'm saying this could push pit 100 if you get the right gear, but it's very hard to get there. And then also I would make sure that cooldown reduction is maxed out. I would make it orange if this was a perfect item. If it had 25% or even 24, probably would do the same. I'm not going to reset this right now until I get a better one. And then this one right here was another item that was better for my Fireball Sorcerer, and I went to Core Skills, which was triple stacked in it. So eventually I'll want one that actually has critical strike chance, and then hopefully I won't have to, if I get that on Erepedition and I get that on the Ring of Scarlet Skies, then I won't have to use the Yull and the Gar. I'll switch that out for something that would be better towards the build. So that's the gear. Currently, you see my percentage of crit is only at, we'll go to the top so I can show you, 89%, but it does go up to 100% when I do get the Yull and the Gar. So if I had a couple more points into that, it would be perfect. So hopefully we'll get that soon, and the build will be even stronger because I do like this build a lot. All right, so we'll go into the tree. I'm not going to explain anything in depth, but I do like using the charge bolts and the chain lightning and the destructive charge bolts because it does proc a ton with the unstable current. So once you click this, all these charge bolts and lightning spear and chain lightnings are going to come out. So it does help out. So I do use that. I do use point into flame shield. I do use shimmering teleport, shimmering ice armor. We go into a couple things. We do get invoked lightning spear in this build. This is a point into familiar and enhanced familiar. This is giving us the burning damage, which is really nice. You need summon ice blades. You need protection. You need devouring blaze. I like having extra barrier. I feel so tanky in this build, which feels good. You do want wizard ball lightning. This is good for picking up the orbs and getting extra crackling energy. Very good here. Enlightenment's good. Electrocution is fantastic, and prime unstable currents is a must in this build. You definitely want Horror Frost. That's going to be when you're getting that lucky hit chance and freezing enemies. You're doing a ton of extra damage. All right, for the Paragon tree, we're going to make this a little bit bigger, so we're going to cut that out because we already seen that. Paragon tree. We are using destruction. The reason why you're using destruction here, I'm going to explain this real quick. You still get 390. My destruction is 100 level 100 glyph. You get 393.7 critical strike damage here. The tactician node gives you a ton as well. So you can see I get 162 on the burning. So you actually have more dex nodes here than this one. But if you add up putting Tactician here and add up having critical strike damage here with Destruction, and you add those two together, this is the most you could get out of these two trees to get more critical strike damage. The burning tree and then the regular base tree. So there is another tree that has critical strike as well, but we're using Elementalist right here. So that's giving us extra damage when we're casting fire or casting ice or cold. So you're getting 15x damage. You get these nodes right here that will give you extra damage to elites, which would be bosses too, and non-physical damage. You are getting Enchantment Master because we want to teleport as soon as possible and have as many have 6 ice blades up at all time. You want Frigid Fate. That is a very good one. You want Unleashed, and then you want to go down into the new board, which is the fundamental release, because this does a ton more damage as well. So the only one we're not getting a legendary node is the Burning Instinct, but that is it. You are using Control too, so you might have to level this up. Control is one that hasn't been used in a lot of builds, but Control does a lot of damage. There are a lot of nodes that I still need to get, so once I get some of these nodes, I'll be even tankier. I don't really have too many damage nodes, but more health, which is great. Some more lucky hit, which would help out as well. But a lot of points that could be added that will make me even more tanky, and so I won't have a chance of dying. We're really looking for damage though, so I'm going to continue to try to evolve this build and hopefully make it even stronger so you guys could see the progression through it. But this is only 289 Paragon points spent. If you do have more, then just start filling up the more tanky nodes. So you get all your damage resist. You get that extra life as well. This is 12%. You'd be at over 10k life if you had that one. So there's a lot that you could still add on, but this is where I'm at currently. Very fun build. I definitely recommend you check it out. If you can do me a huge favor, make sure to like and subscribe. Watch Calpka Tuesdays and Thursdays. We stream live on Twitch and YouTube. So check us out. We're going to be there waiting for you, having a good time. Thank you guys for watching the video. I will see you in the next one.